I have always loved fashion, and ever since I started buying my own pieces with my own money from a young age, I have shopped secondhand, often for the affordability component and just the ability to find things from great brands at a lower price. But as I've gotten older, shopping secondhand first has become a really big goal of mine for the sustainability component. It's better to shop from things that are already in existence and unwanted than to encourage the production of more things, especially when you can find pretty much anything you could want secondhand. I've been shopping and selling casually on Poshmark for more than 10 years, so I feel like I've really picked up some good tips and tricks for how to find exactly what you want. So today I'm going to be going through all my best tips. Okay, so first things first, you have to have the Poshmark app and an account, I believe. I don't know if you're able to check out directly on your web browser now, but I really recommend getting the app. I've used the app for like 10 years, so I'm going off of how the app works and I highly recommend it. So whenever you're shopping on Poshmark, you're likely going to be using the search bar or following your top brands and scrolling through their items. So whenever you find something you're interested in, like the item. This will save the item to your like tab so you can keep an eye on it, but also this gives the sellers the opportunity to send you an offer. So a lot of sellers have an automatic offering set up where 5 to 15 minutes after liking the item, you will automatically get an offer of 10 to 30% off directly come to you. So that's why it's always worth it to like the item first. Even if they don't have that feature set up, they might hand make an offer to you once they see that your like came in. Plus this helps you slow down. I know I can get carried away when shopping on Poshmark and make a lot of impulse purchases. So liking the items and saving them to your profile where you can go in and view all your likes and compare the pricing and the brands and the quality and really digest what you're interested in will help you shop a little more mindfully as well. Now, whenever one of those items that you have liked sells, if you're still interested in the item, don't unlike it. Keep it saved in your likes, because Poshmark does this thing where if you click on the listing, the sold listing, and scroll down below it, it'll recommend like 40 similar products. So this can be helpful for finding that exact item again. You know, maybe it's the exact item but from a different seller, or maybe the person that purchased this item, it didn't work out for them for whatever reason, so they've relisted it on Poshmark, because Poshmark makes that really easy for buyers to do. So always keep that liked item in your likes so that you can go back and reference it, because the recommendations below it will change as things sell and as time passes, so it can be a really helpful resource. So when you're coming to the Poshmark app and you're searching for an item that you've been looking for, you will need to use keywords to describe your item. So for example, if you're looking for a barn jacket, because I know those have been trending over the last year, and honestly they're all over the secondhand market, don't just type in barn jacket and expect to find exactly what you're looking for. You'll want to get a little more specific than that. So maybe it's vintage barn jacket and the brand that you want it to be from, whether it's Lands' End or LL Bean or Ralph Lauren or Eddie Bauer. Maybe it's corduroy collar jacket, because that is a feature on a lot of barn jackets. Maybe it's work jacket or field jacket or chore jacket. There are a bunch of different words that people might be using to describe the item that you're looking for, so you'll want to try a few different options before you give up. Also, if you're looking for a specific color or size, the more specific you are with your search, the more likely you are to find exactly what you're looking for. Going along with that, if you are able to figure out the name of the item that you're looking for, like the exact name, brands like Free People or Lily Pulitzer or Vineyard Vines name a lot of their items an exact name, and a lot of the times sellers will use that name in the listing whenever they're selling it. And as I mentioned, always add the brand whenever you can. This can be done in the search bar or through the filters that Poshmark has. So Poshmark offers a variety of search filters that you can use in tandem with your keywords. The filters are category, brand size, color, price, shipping, condition, availability, and type. I most often use the category filter. I think that this one can be super helpful, especially if you're looking for something broad like a lace midi skirt and you don't necessarily know a brand that it's from and you're just browsing. Then you can go in and choose the category by gender, then choose skirts, then choose midi skirts, and really get more specific with your search. And I find that the filters help exclude items as well. So whenever you initially do your, lace midi skirt or white lace midi skirt search, you might be getting mini skirts as well, because Poshmark is just pulling from those keywords. So maybe they're giving you a white lace mini skirt instead of a white lace midi skirt. But whenever you go in and add that filter and make it midi, the buyer has to have hit midi as the item type whenever they're filling out the listing for it to come up. So that can be really helpful. I also use brand, size, and color filters a lot, but really as many of those filters as you are able to use will help get your search more specific. With that being said, sometimes I don't use the size filter, especially if I'm looking for something vintage, because a lot of the times vintage stuff will run small, or just with secondhand items in general, especially sweaters. If people haven't taken proper care of them, they might have shrunk. I have a Quince cashmere sweater that was originally like 3 sizes too big for me, but they shrunk it and now it's perfect for me, and I found that on Poshmark. Or if it's an item like a jacket or a sweater that I'm willing to be more oversized, then I might remove the size filter just so I can really get a look at what's out there. So Poshmark also has a sort feature. So they have the sort options are based on pricing, just shared, just in, or relevance. I think those are the main ones. I'll put a screenshot in here. So whenever you type in your keywords at the top of the search bar and things start coming up, it's automatically going to be sorted by just shared, meaning that the seller has recently refreshed that listing. Maybe they changed the pricing on it, or they just physically hit the share button to try to put it into more people's feeds, because you can follow people on Poshmark, or to share it to a certain party, because Poshmark does these things where it's a category of a party, and if you click in there, it's only those kinds of things from those kinds of brands. I don't love using the just shared sort. It can be helpful for knowing that the seller is active and the item is still available and they're gonna ship quickly likely, and they're responsive in the app. So if you're finding that your search is bringing up a bunch of old listings, then you might want to use this just shared. Also, side note that just came to mind with this, if you are looking at an older item, click on the seller, then if you click about, you can see whenever that seller was last active on the app. So maybe that item is still available and they just don't know about sharing it to make it appear recently updated item. It'll also tell you their average ship time, and you can see like how many listings they've sold, the percentage off that they offer if you do a bundle. So sometimes people will have it set up, if you add 2 items to your bundle you get an automatic discount, or 3 items to your bundle you get an automatic discount. But my main point with that is if you go to the seller's profile and hit their about, you can get some insight into how long they've been on Poshmark, how active they are, how much they've sold, just to know more about who you're buying from. But I do think that Poshmark is great about supporting the buyers. If you do buy something and the seller doesn't ship it, if a week has gone by, you're able to go in and cancel it, so you get your money back. If you buy an item and it arrives in a different condition than was described in the listing, or something is wrong with it, you can submit that to Poshmark and they'll either refund you or give you some kind of discount and let you keep the item. I feel like their customer support has been really great, but I'm getting a little derailed. My point is that just shared is helpful for knowing that the item is still available, but in my opinion, whenever I am searching, I am more likely to use relevance so that it brings up items that are most related to the keywords that I'm searching with. Now, if I'm looking specifically for the best deal and I'm getting a ton of results coming up with my keywords, I might search it low to high instead, so that I'm seeing the cheapest items first. Especially if you've already gotten super specific with brand and you know that it's going to be a quality item and not something completely irrelevant. Searching low to high can help you find some really great deals. For example, I've found a corduroy collar trench raincoat for only $4 from Talbot's, Fry boots for $30, and a Lands' End barn jacket for $15. So I do use the low to high search often as well. All right, next are some tips for finding the items that you want on Poshmark outside of the Poshmark app. So anytime I come across something that I like online, I usually take a screenshot of it and then I go to Google reverse image search, because maybe it's something I saw on TikTok, or maybe the item is sold out, or maybe I am just trying to be really intentional and shop secondhand first. If you go to the Google Google app and click the little camera, you can upload your screenshots directly to that and it will pull up like exact items that it's found across the web. A lot of the times that automatically will bring up some secondhand options, but you can also type used or the word Poshmark in with your search and that will bring up more as well. And you can do that same thing using those keywords that you were using in Poshmark into your Google search engine and then add the word Poshmark, and a bunch of used options will come up in that shop that usually appears at the top of your Google search if you're searching for an item. So this I do very often. Going along with this, start clicking those Poshmark links that are coming up. So I feel like my Google has really gotten to know me and knows that I am most often looking for secondhand items whenever I'm doing these Google searches. So it does automatically show me a lot of Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, The RealReal directly in that shop tab already because it's so familiar with how I behave in the app. And I am recently engaged, which is so exciting. And I've been looking at a bunch of wedding inspiration on Pinterest. And one day I was, I clicked a pen, I was scrolling below looking at similar pens, and I came across a Poshmark listing of a bridal outfit. And I clicked on it, and now I'm getting more and more bridal outfits from Poshmark in my Pinterest feed. Now I know that some people are not loving how Pinterest is becoming very shopping oriented, and I don't love it either whenever it ends up being, drop shippers or random online sites that I've never heard of. But if it's helping me find things that I am actually looking for on Poshmark, then I'm all for it. I found some really cute bridal outfits by leaning into those and clicking those links more and just, clicking the pen, scrolling below the pen, just interacting with those Poshmark links whenever they are fed to you helps show these algorithms that that is what you're looking for so that it knows to give you more of that in the future. My last tip is more around getting the best deal when shopping on Poshmark. So don't be afraid to make an offer. Even if you've liked an item and an offer hasn't come in from the seller, you can always go in and make an offer yourself. And you never know what they'll be willing to accept, so don't be afraid to try. All right, so those are all my top tips for shopping on Poshmark. If you guys have any questions or any tips that I missed, because I'm sure that there are other tips out there, leave them down below, or maybe let me know what your best Poshmark find has been.